Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to do the second day of the 75 days coding study plan of Leetcode. So the problem name is Isomorphic Strings. It falls in the easy category of Leetcode and the acceptance rate is 42.2%. Now let's move on to the problem statement. So, so given two strings S and T, determine if they are isomorphic. Two strings S and T are isomorphic if characters in S can be replaced to get T. All the occurrences of a character must be replaced with another character while preserving the order of the characters. No two characters may map to the same character, but a character may map to itself. So now let's check on the example. So in the first example, S is equal to E double G, that's egg, and T is equal to A double D. So the answer to it is true. So how we will get true? Like E will be mapped to A and G will be mapped to D. So we get a unique mapping that's also 1 1, and there is a unique mapping that I mentioned which is also 1 1. So the answer is true. Now let's on check on the next example. So S is equal to F double O and T is equal to B A R. So now let's start mapping from the zeroth index. So F is mapped to B, O is mapped to A, and the next O at the second index must be mapped to R. But we can't do that. The same character can't be mapped to another character. So the answer is false. And let's check on another example. S is equal to paper and T is equal to title. P is mapped to T, A is mapped to I, and again P is mapped to T itself, not something other than the character it was mapped beforehand. So E is mapped to L and R is mapped to E. There is a unique 1 1 mapping, so the answer is true. Now the how will I solve this problem is basically I will rather than creating a single map like I mentioned, like E is mapped to A and like in the first example, and G is mapped to D. Instead of that, I will be mapping E to some value and A to the same value. And if while traversing the array, if for any index the elements value both the elements value in the that mapping is not equal, then we will return false. Otherwise, we will after traversing the whole array, whole both the strings, we will return true. So the first condition to check is if s dot size is whether the size of the both the strings are equal or not. If that's not equal, then we will simply return false. That can't be isomorphic. That two strings can't be isomorphic to each other. Now let's create a map. Like I'm creating two maps to store the that map would be corresponding to E will be mapped to a character, E will map to a integer or something like that, and same thing will map and the same element in the T will be mapped to like E will be mapped to something in this example, and the same thing will be mapped to A as well. Like let me show you, then you will understand better. M1, let's name it M1. The size of it will be the whole ASCII set size. So that will be 256, and vector int M2 256 comma 0. Now let's start traversing the array. I equals to 0, I is less than s dot size I plus plus if M1 of Si is not equal to M2 of Ti, then we are gonna return false. and we have to mark m1 si is equal to some value. I will be mapping it to I plus 1 because I have initialized it to 0. If I initialize it to minus 1, then I would be mapping it to I as well. So I will be mapping si to I, and same for m2. There are two maps basically for TNS. If at any point these two value of these two maps are not equal, then we will be return a false. Otherwise, we will carry on the iterations. And if we reach the end of the file for loop and there is no use of return statement, if return hasn't been return state return false hasn't been executed, then we will return true after traversing the whole array. Let me submit and see if it works. So it works. Thank you everyone for watching it. I will be back with another video.